starting with chemistry, as you know, there are three parts: physical, inorganic, and organic. All three I will be dealing with one by one in this particular session. So if I look at the NEET 2024, this is the average size of, percentage of questions which are coming for last 1 or 2 years. 24 and 23 I have taken together here. You can see most of the questions in the organic chemistry are coming from 12th standard. Okay, conversion type questions. Few of them are coming from 11th standard. So organic is equally distributed in 11th and 12th if you look at the NEET PYQs. On the other hand, the questions coming from physical chemistry are also equally distributed, whereas the inorganic part comes mostly from class 12th. Okay, all of this you will be seeing in the session today. So I will tell you how to start studying for the physical chemistry. If you feel scared about physical chemistry, then how to approach it so that you think it is a more interesting subject and an easier subject. Okay, so before that, let me just see how many questions are asked from the topics in the 2024. So this NEET 24 analysis that we are looking at here, just a 1 minute we'll give to it so that we can see. Starting with electrochemistry, 2 questions are asked. So most important topic I will just tell first, which is going to be the B and F block elements. In this case, 2024, this topic, no audio. Sir, audio is not there. Audio. There. Okay. Really introvert. Is the audio there now, bache? Okay. All right. So this year, surprisingly, B and F block elements was not asked that much in the previous, years. But this year, because some of the topics were removed, like polymers, like metallurgy, okay, and surface chemistry, that's why more of the questions came from the B block elements. It is surprising, but it's a very important chapter from now on, because you can see that many chapters of inorganic have removed. So yes, B and F block elements is one of the important topic for us. Some basic concepts of organic chemistry, obviously always the most important topic for us. We'll see how to tackle their questions today, what type of questions are asked. Apart from that, three questions are coming from the chemical bonding, from hydrogen bonding topic, from the molecular orbital theory, from the shapes, all important things we'll discuss today. Aldehyde ketones, carboxylic acid is also an important chapter. Some basic concepts of chemistry, mole concept and the redox chapter comes here. Okay, and other ones you can just look at them. I will discuss one by one in detail how to deal with each chapter. Okay, so these are the ones. Redox reactions, only one question had come. That also could be solved by electrochemistry chapter. So I don't want to keep it in redox. Let's better keep it in the electrochemistry only. So total 3 from the electro. These are the other chapters, class 12 chapters. Alcohol, phenol, ethers, 2 questions. Periodicity, 2 questions. Coordination compound, one of the important topic, we'll discuss them today. So you can look at these numbers. These are not much of a concern right now. Okay. So let us start with the first one, how to deal with the physical chemistry and the most important topics to discuss. Okay. This year, one thing very strangely was asked, that out of 50 questions, 5 to 6 questions were the match the matrix type. So I would suggest you please focus on the basic definitions for the matching the matrix type of questions. Basic definitions. What is isobaric process? What is isochoric process? Okay, those types of questions. What did the principal quantum number say? What did the azimuthal quantum number say? Basic definitions if we know. Yes. Hi Pawan, hi Chinnu. So these are the things you should remember. I'll show you some questions which were asked. Graphs related questions, very important. Okay, generally students who are coming from the medical field, they don't generally give much preference to the graphs. But this year, 1-2 graphs questions are asked. Last year also 1 or 2 graphs questions are asked, especially from the logarithmic graphs. How to take the log and then make the graph. So Arrhenius equation graphs, colligative properties graphs, these are all the graphs you need to focus on. Okay, more than numericals, their graphs are more important. As soon as you look at any equation, you just need to make sure that you know how to draw the graph for it. Okay, don't have to mug up any of the graph. All the graphs have a logic. Whether it is y equal to mx plus c, whether it is a hyperbola or parabola graph. You already know how to draw the graph. So make sure you give proper emphasis on these topics. Then there are few topics which are numerically challenging for most of the students. Make sure that you practice their numericals, like chemical kinetics, integrated rate law equations for first order, for zero order, their graphs, equilibrium. Okay, the most difficult question or the longest question which came this year was from equilibrium, from the chemical equilibrium. Okay, and then electrochemistry also is a little bit of a pain topic for most of the students. Okay, so we'll make sure that we'll focus more on the numericals of these three chapters. Then there are few chapters where numericals are less asked or the easier numericals are asked, but the more difficult theoretical questions from the lines of the NCERT are asked. Things like thermodynamics. Okay, things like thermodynamics, they can ask you good questions from the NCERT itself. So reading the NCERT becomes very crucial here. Okay, line to line reading the NCERT, yourself thinking about statement type questions becomes very important here. Okay, make sure when you are studying any of the subject, you are interested in it. Okay, once you're interested in it, you will start liking the NCERT from that day. Otherwise, you will feel that NCERT looks a little boring. But once you're interested in the topic, then obviously our aptitude will develop and we can easily think of the questions which can be asked. Atomic structure, again one topic from physics also you studied, de Broglie hypothesis, and there is Heisenberg uncertainty principle, quantum numbers. From there also good theoretical questions can be asked. And chapter solutions. Okay, how the colligative properties work, how the vapor pressure changes with temperature, okay, how the osmotic pressure changes with concentration, temperature, all these things, small things we should remember. Okay, so majorly this is all about your physical chemistry. Now let me show you a few questions which came in NEET 24, so you can yourself see what I'm talking about makes sense or not. Okay, so these are the questions. Some questions I've just taken here, I have not taken the options. So if you look at match the following, so many questions from the match the following, 1, 2, 3, 3 I have mentioned from the physical chemistry. There are even more from the inorganic and organic as well. But the questions are pretty simple. If you see, they are talking about process and they are asking the condition. So basic definition type of question. Basic definition. We already study isothermal means constant temperature, choric means volume constant, baric means pressure constant, adiabatic means heat is not given or taken out. So these are simple questions. Then looking at this question, you can see here how simple these questions is, but it is little bit of a tricky one. You should remember that shape of orbital was given by the azimuthal quantum number. The magnetic quantum number does not tell the shape. It tells the orientation in the space. So these things, small things you should remember, and then you can easily relate them. And the principal quantum number, which tells us about the radii of the shell. So size of the orbital also it can tell you. Simple question, this one also. This one is little bit of a challenging one or a tricky one. For this case, you need to know a proper knowledge of how to do the Faraday's law. Okay, so how many Faraday of current will be required? Proper n factor should be required, should be known here. Little bit of a difficult question as compared to other match the following. Whenever you look at such questions, if you feel like there is some calculation required and question will take 3 to 4 minutes, you can skip it for the end. If it is in section B, you can obviously have an option to skip it. If it is in section A, I would say don't start solving such questions right away when you look at them. Give them time, leave them. At the end, you can do such long questions. Okay, it will take a little bit time. If the options are like that, because in this the options were given little bit similar ones. If I know the n factor of first one, that H2 going to O2 n factor is 2, so 2 Faraday. One matching with 2, but then there were many options where the one was matching with 2. So such questions might take little time for you. Okay, so be careful in match the following. And then you can see here how important the graph questions are, as I told you. How important the graph questions are. So this is a graph given from the Arrhenius equation from the logarithmic graph. Okay, how the log k, ln k depends on 1 by t. Although the graph is simple, but many students have done mistakes here. You feel that graphs are difficult. If basic equation you already know, then you should not do mistake in such graphs. Okay, K equal to A into e to the power minus EA by RT. All of you remember this equation at least. Okay. And then how to take the logarithms you already know. So natural log ln K is equal to ln of this whole term, which can be written as A into e to the power minus EA by RT. Okay. So log of A into B can be written as log A plus log B. So ln K equal to ln A plus ln e to the power minus EA by RT. Then you know that the power can become the multiplication. So it will become ln A minus EA by RT natural log E, which is actually 1. So this is our graph ln K equal to ln A minus EA by RT. Now they have taken 1 by T as the x-axis. So this 1 by T, here 1 by T becomes the x-axis. Whatever is multiplied with the x-axis has to be slope. So minus EA by R is the slope actually here. Negative slope, positive intercept of ln A. A graph should go down something like this, fourth one. So you should be able to think like that. It's not like you have to mug up these graphs. You have to mug up these equations. You should start from this equation only and then at that time solve the graph. Similarly, all the equations that you have from each of the solution chapter, you know, chemical kinetics chapter, thermodynamics chapter, you should be able to draw the graphs yourself. All right, this was about the physical part. Now let's talk about the second most important topic, organic chemistry. Okay, organic chemistry. Most of us, when we start doing organic, we think that it's a topic to mug up. But if you mug up organic chemistry, mark my words, you can't do more than 50% questions correct. It is one of the most application-based topic. It's just like mathematics. If I tell you that 10 plus 20 is 30 and I ask you 17 plus 23, you don't have to remember that it's 40. You have to calculate at that time. Same way, if you know the different reagents, that's a very small thing. But how to apply those reagents in a proper manner, in which order, which reagent has to be used to do a particular organic conversion, it requires application. Okay, so you have to properly understand the organic chemistry to do its questions. What are the majorly asked questions are qualitative, quantitative analysis have been asked in last so many years. Purification based question, percentage of nitrogen, percentage of halogen based question. Very important one. Chemical properties of hydrocarbons and alcohols chapter. Many questions came from hydrocarbons and alcohols only in last few years. Hydrocarbon being the most important chapter of organic chemistry. Mostly the chemical properties of alkenes and alkynes and aromatic hydrocarbons. Okay. Then distinction test in alcohol, carbonyls and the carboxylic acid and amines as well. All the tests which are there, I would suggest you keep them in one separate notebook. It will take 2 to 3 pages only. Hinsberg test, Lucas test, Victor Meyer's test, okay, all those tests which are there, Toland's test and then Felling's test, all these tests generally are asked because now the NEET is mostly focusing on the practical aspect of chemistry as well, okay, more they are shifting towards the practical aspect. That's why they have added the new topics also which are mostly based on the practicals. So make sure you are thorough with these topics. Some of the topics which most of the students feel challenging are electronic effects, okay, because NCERT has not mentioned much about it, but these topics get asked every time in NEET. Which of the carbocation is more stable, which of the alcohol is easy to dehydrate, all depends on inductive, mesomeric and hyperconjugation effects. So this is one topic you should properly study this. You should give it time, at least 10 days of study should be there for the electronic effects. If you study it for 10 days, you can easily do all the questions, understand these effects carefully. You can also take the help of all the online lectures which are there on this channel. Okay. Then electronic effects, application and mechanism of the organic reactions. Okay, there are 6 to 7 reactions only in the NEET for which we have to know the mechanism. So make sure you know how to do SN1 reaction, how to do SN2 reaction, what are the factors affecting their rates and so on. Okay. Moving to the next one, let us see a few questions that I have taken for you from the NEET 24 paper. Okay, so questions like How would you do the following transformation? So from a alkene, I have to go to aldehyde. 2-3 options were given. All the reagents most of you might remember, but in what order we have to use the reagent is the important part here. Okay, so I have to do the oxidation of the corner carbon. There is no direct method. So we know that if I get to the alcohol on number 1, if I get to a OH here, then I can make it to aldehyde easily by using some of the reagent like PCC or PDC. Okay, those of you who are studying already this chapter, or if you have done this, then you are getting the point what I am trying to say. So I want to attach a OH here, I want to attach a hydrogen here, which is anti-Marconico addition of water. So you could think first hydroboration oxidation followed by PCC, PDC and so on. Okay, so like this you could do that. Little bit of a tricky question because the options were very close. So this is a question where most of the students have made mistake. Then which alcohol reacts instantaneously with the Lucas reagent? So this is also a question coming from the distinction test. Tertiary alcohols are the best in that case, and anywhere you find a tertiary alcohol will be working for that. A question coming from the purification method. I told you most of the questions are coming from the practical chemistry as well. It's a simple question directly coming from the NCERT lines. What is spelling solution? Again a question coming from the practical chemistry. Okay, so you can see here that 3 questions out of 4 that I have written here. There are even more questions from the practical chemistry part only. If you know them, you know them. If you don't know, you can't solve them. So you need to know the information about these all things which have to be done. Okay, and then last part, let us discuss about inorganic chemistry. Not much to discuss about it, reason being only few chapters are now remaining in the inorganic chemistry. Most of the chapters have been cut from the NEET, like S block is not there, hydrogen is not there, surface chemistry is not there. So only a few chapters are remaining. Like D and F block this year became the most important chapter. 4 questions came from here. It is the most typical chapter where the mugging up is required for all the physical properties, all the trends in reactivities, trends in the electrochemical potentials. This is a little bit of a topic which requires time to study. Okay, just take your NCERT, read it at least 3 to 4 times, then it will start making sense. All the tables which are made in the NCERT, okay, make an order out of the tables yourself and then you will be able to solve its questions. Then chemical bonding, your favorite chapter, most easy chapter. You make sure that you know all the shapes of all the ions and the molecules present in the NCERT at least. At least 50 to 60 molecules are there whose hybridization shapes you should know. And you should know the way to how to find them. Hydrides in the P block. Most of the questions come from the boiling point, melting point, acidic nature of oxygen family hydrides, nitrogen family hydrides. Very important topic. So these are the 3 chapters which are more important, and apart from that, the coordination compounds. In this chapter, mostly questions are asked from the isomerism topic. Okay, isomerism topic and also magnetic properties. How to find which is paramagnetic, which is diamagnetic complex, and so on. So this is also an important chapter. Only these 4 chapters are remaining majorly. Okay, and apart from that, the newly added topic, cation and anion analysis. Not much is required for this. This topic is a huge topic. If you want to study properly cation and anion analysis, it takes at least 3 to 4 days. But for the NEET point of view, just the superficial study of cation and anion analysis is sufficient. Not the confirmation test, just the preliminary test and the table of cation analysis. Which cation belongs to which group and which reagents is used for that. Few examples if you want to see here. You can see here what types of question came in 24. This question you can see here, it is octahedral, which of the following is para, which is diamagnetic, this type of question. I just told you they are important ones. Match the following question just coming from the definitions as I showed you before as well. Okay, from thermodynamics also it came from the basic definition. There is also basic definition of isomerism. If you know, you can easily solve these questions. Okay, this is a typical and difficult question. Only if you have studied the NCERT properly. From the NCERT table, this question is coming. Which of the following has more SRP value, less SRP value? What is the reason for it? Particularly, you need to know the reason. Little bit of a difficult question, I would say this one. Okay. And then this is a simple question coming from cation analysis. They are just asking which group the cations belong to. So their test might take a lot of time to learn, but mostly the questions will be asked from the superficial part only, because this topic is not there in the NCERT. So they won't ask anything much deeper from these topics which are not in NCERT. So a superficial knowledge of cation anion analysis, if you have, it will help you. I hope it is clear to all of you, and this is my part today. I hope you will be gaining a lot of knowledge after this lecture and doing better in your preparation. Okay, thank you very much. Now our botany ma'am, Mrs. Rohini Gupta ma'am, will take the session. Thank you.
Good evening to my dear students. Please first of all let me know my voice is audible to everyone. Please put your thumbs up if you are able to hear me. Okay, fine. So in this session under the botany we will talk about that concepts which are going to be important for your upcoming NEET exam. In the list what you are looking in my background, right, there is a list of the chapters from +1. In the next list I am taking the list of the chapters from botany from +2, right. So this is Rohini Gupta, faculty from botany department, and I am going to take this session just to talk on the concept just now I discussed, means the important topics under these given list of the chapters which we are considering under the botany. So let's take for the +1. So +1 NCERT book, the very first chapter given in that index, that is the living world. Although it is given as the first chapter, but its weightage is very less. So if you are revising the things and you are after that we have to go with the important, then keep this chapter at last. I am not saying don't revise it, revise that, but in the priority list it should be in the last. And important topic under the living world where they mostly create the questions, that will be the binomial nomenclature and diversity, where the value of the total number of species come, and in the last some examples even have been given for its classification, right. So if you want to in the last you have to go with step by step with this chapter, then these are the important areas which you have to cover in the living world, right. Now coming to the next chapter, biological classification. This is very important chapter along with plant kingdom, plan it to complete. If you are revising, again I am repeating, if you are near to the revision, then better take biological classification with combination with plant kingdom, and it is going to important, let me to take for biological classification. Why it is important? Due to the frequently asked question mainly on the topic fungus and even on viruses, viroids and prions and lichens, which are given in the last of the chapter. But I never say that this is the only topics you have to go. I am saying these are very, very important topic, and rest of the topics obviously important, but don't miss to read that topics, they are going to important. And suggestion to you people that how to cover the biological classification, like suppose you have picked up Protista as a kingdom, so you have so many groups under that, better to learn in comparison, it will be easy for you to retain for longer time, right. Next challenge what student face, that is by examples, then try to develop some mnemonic, or if not possible then look to the diagrams. Sometimes the pictures or diagram, when you are looking that, the concept is strong for a long time. So go with the diagrams, important as per your NEET exam. Examples also, reason because maybe they are not giving you the heading. Instead of heading, they are giving you the examples over there, right? So it goes both with the biological classification as well as plant kingdom. But specifically, if I talk about plant kingdom, the most important topic there will be the gymnosperms, and even before that alga also. Many questions have been framed from the alga part. Means 3 classes they have given over there: chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. Many questions have been framed from there. Next important will be the gymnosperms. So these are the topmost in the list. Rest of all are even important. Please go through that. These 2 chapter is having high weightage, right? Now coming to the next, morphology of flowering plant. This is always the topmost priority in our list, morphology, right? Many question you will find it is framed from the morphology of flowering plant, but specifically from which part? This is from flower, right? Like in this, in the last NEET exam also, maybe you have seen the questions clearly after your exam. You analyze the question paper, you will find there many questions are there, or match the column you will find on estivation, placentation, right? So these topics are going to be important, and diagram even was based on flower. One of the diagram from the type of flower they have given based on the position of the gynoecium. So flower topic is most important, and new families just now they introduce. So please go through that nicely, and I again suggest you have to go with the comparison. If you have paragraphs in your NCERT book now, make one habit to split every paragraph, break it into lines. Then after that go with the flow charts. Making flow chart is easy, comfortable, and will help you to retain the things for very long time, right? Okay, now coming to the next, anatomy of flowering plants. Usually students are having in this chapter the problem with the transverse sections. Like we have total 6 transverse sections here, means monocot, dicot, their stem, their roots, their leaves, right? So in that case again your diagram will work. Keep an image in your mind of the transverse sections and definitely do compare it. If I talk about dicot, you can say for root and for monocot root, then their differences are very less and the similarities will be more. But if I am discussing about stem part, comparison with dicot and monocot, then dissimilarities will be more. Similarities you will find very less. So likewise you have to compare and go with. No doubt secondary growth they had deleted, but still go with the important headings over there, like periderm is important, and do learn the periderm further consists of which 3 layers, do remember that. And even within a full chapter, the important single term, like if I am saying bulliform cells, this is a separate and unique type of the term. Must prefer to learn all these terms, especially written in black letters, dark bold letters they have given in NCERT. Just go with that, right? So after the anatomy you are having very important unit now. Unit means cell structure and function, under which what is going to come? You are having these topic under that, means cell, the unit of life, biomolecules, cell cycle and cell division. It all 3 chapters come under cell structure and function. This full unit is very important. Every year 6 to 8 questions, or maximum I can go with the 8 and minimum 5 to 6, like that range is there for this unit, right? Because cell, the unit of life, you will find some question they had asked from out of NCERT also. Like for example, P and Q arms in the chromosomes, even the lamb brush chromosome, polytene chromosome. So probability of such question is even higher from this chapter. But keep in your mind, when you are learning from NCERT, you should not make wrong from these concepts which is already there in your NCERT book, right? Okay, so in that NCERT book, make a strong grip. If they ask you out of NCERT, then out of NCERT till now from this chapter they asked for P and Q arms in chromosome, means long arm you call it as Q arm, and P arm is a short arm, right, which is in submetacentric and acrocentric chromosomes, right. Now coming to biomolecules, Why this chapter is very important? Because it is linked to the other chapters also. For example, a small example, like nucleic acid is there. If you are having good knowledge of nucleic acids, its bonding, forming the polymerization, then I feel in molecular basis of inheritance, you can understand the role of polymerase enzyme, that how bonding is happening, what is 3 prime, what is 5 prime, you can able to understand that concept, right? So this is again important chapter for you people. And in biomolecules, the tables what they have given, right? The table forms are very important, and most important table in biomolecules is about the secondary metabolites. Like for example, they have given there for lectin, concavalin A, they had given that example, that table I am talking about, secondary metabolites, right? So be focused on everything, but at the nick of time, sometimes you don't have time, so don't miss to read at least these topics, right? Now coming to the next, cell cycle, cell division. This chapter is important based on numerical point of view, no doubt concept also, right? Type of questions, what they are asking, definitely tomorrow in our session, we will take based on PYQs, how you can build your more score from there, we will take that point there. But right now I am just talking about what type of questions and what type of concept you have to cover to secure your best score in your upcoming NEET exam. So based on that, cell cycle, cell division, this is important based on numerical part, right? Like meiosis is the most important topic, and it is linked to your chapter in +2, sexual reproduction in flowering plant, where we will talk about that in the embryo sac, or how embryo sac have been created. First of all, like megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis to form megaspore, 3 degenerate, 1 functional, then that functional give rise to embryo sac. So that story in the male and female in the chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plant, that is little bit based on this chapter also, right? So this is even important. Then coming to photosynthesis in higher plant, respiration in plant, plant growth and development. These 3 chapters comes under physiology. Now you know that in plant physiology, 2 chapters have been related, transportation in plants, second is the mineral nutrition. So obviously now these 3 chapters as compared to previous is having good weightage. We are expecting from each chapter like 1 question or 2 question they can ask, right? So photosynthesis, what portion is important? It is important like C3, C4 plants, that is important, just go through that. And even factors like last NEET exam, they ask you for dark reaction, what components are required. So you should know what are the you can say products of light reaction and what is going to use in the dark reaction. C3, C4 cycle you have to go with, you should know the difference between that, right? Then for respiration in plants, here in this chapter, from every topic they are keeping 1 question or the second question, they keep on changing the topic every year if they are planning for respiration in plants. But for your understanding point of view, ETC you are feeling tough, so better have a grip on that so that you feel confident on this chapter, right? Now coming to the next, plant growth and development. Here most important topic will be PGRs, plant growth, these are the plant growth hormones that you call it as PGRs. So in plant growth hormones, the important will be their physiological roles like auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins are there. So their physiological roles are there, right? So this is about +1 NCERT book, that which areas you must be strong. You should be strong for NCERT book. It is like a formula in your hand. You have to go through that every line with the understanding. But again I repeat, if you in dilemma that what I have to pick at the nick of time, so I feel these tips can help you out. Let me to remind you once again, please go through the diagrams, very important. Check the labeling. This year you have 2 diagrams which they have given from morphology of flowering plants. 1 diagram of monocot seed, okay, you can say it is shared between the morphology chapter and the sexual reproduction in flowering plant, right? So diagrams important. Do read the introduction of the chapter where they are usually discussing about the scientist, just the work done by the scientist. Just go through that. Read the summary also, where sometimes some word is given which is not explained in the chapter, and preferably go with the new NCERT book, right? So any changes what they kept at finally they will pick up the new NCERT book to give you the correct key over there, right? Now coming for the next, that is for the plus 2 NCERT, what chapters are important in there and which concept you have to focus more. See, in this plus 2, they already deleted the least, you can say, important chapter, that will be strategies, they already deleted. Reproduction organism, they already deleted. But do remember, when you are discussing the chapter strategies, in the last, earlier you found tissue culture. They had removed the tissue culture from strategy and kept into the chapter biotechnology and its application, right? So it's important to go with that, right? And now let's go with the chapter 2 chapter with the plus 2 NCERT book. So these chapters we are including here under the botany from plus 2. Sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Which area is most important here? Definitely here the concept of like when you go with the embryo sac, the structure of that, this is important. Pollination, most important. So based on pollinators, they can ask you the question. Even double fertilization, then on the seeds, they can ask you the questions. So cover that area and don't miss other also, but do revise, focus this the most, right? Then after that, principles of inheritance and variation. Under botany, we are taking this chapter up to the linkage and recombination. After the means from sex determination, that topic will be for the zoology part. But up to the linkage and recombination, what you have to take care, definitely numerical part again in this chapter, and mostly asked from the like one gene inheritance from monohybrid crosses, it have been asked. And for understanding part, please do cover the linkage and recombination, that will give you confidence to cover up this chapter at last, right? And being important also. Then after molecular basis of inheritance, most important chapter, right? It is having so many questions which can be framed from here. If I go with the botany part, we are dealing this chapter molecular basis of inheritance up to Lac-Apron model, right? So if I join the human genome project also, so many questions are framed from this single chapter, 7 to 8 questions. We can take it from only molecular basis of inheritance. Some questions they are taking from biomolecules, but being some concept common, sometimes we kept it under molecular basis of inheritance. Most important topic here is transcription, right? To start with from the beginning, transcriptional unit, even the process of transcription, and even in eukaryote, the distribution of the work among the polymerase 1, 2 and 3, very important, right? And even when you are learning about Lac-Apron, even it becomes very important to understand what is Lac-Apron and diagram given on the Lac-Apron, right? Now coming to the next, microbes in human welfare. This is very small little chapter, but learning work is more over there. And most important page in this chapter, when you will talk about chemical enzymes and other active type of the molecules, that page is very important. We are finding almost every year one question from that page. And next important topic is the sewage treatment, where microbes are helping, right? So do remember microbes in human welfare, even you have to cover. Then is the biotechnology. I am considering all together principles and processes, even biotechnology and its application. If I club these two chapters, again after molecular basis of inheritance, or you can say equal to molecular basis of inheritance, this is having still very high weightage, right? Again we can expect 5 to 6 questions from here, and most important area will be that like cloning vector they had given, and even selectable marker portion from there. This is very important. Gel electrophoresis, again very important from that portion. BT cotton coming from the biotechnology and its application. Again next over there, BT cotton is shared as a topic in microbes and in biotechnology. Microbe just they are telling about the role of that bacteria, but in biotechnology how we improvise that and making that as a better species to give us the better crop, that we are discussing. Again I repeat, in biotechnology and its application, they had introduced the tissue culture topic. Earlier it was in strategies, but strategy chapter deleted, but still their tissue culture topic is given in new books under biotechnology and its application. Please do cover all the points, and definitely I feel that this type of interaction between us will help you somewhere, right? So please do go with the all the topics very nicely. NCRT is most important to cover, right? Calculate your time, in how much time you are solving the question. Don't solve the question without fixing the time. It will give you the accuracy and how much best you can give in that small slot of time, right? That's all from the botany part. Rest all, I hand over the session to our physics sir. Now he will take the session. Thank you, students.
Good evening, everyone. So, you had a session of chemistry and botany for NEET 2025. What kind of questions might come? What is the trend and all? Now, I'm going to discuss for physics, your most favorite subject, I hope. So, physics, how to go, which chapter to concentrate on, what is the technique we should adopt for NEET 2025. That we are going to discuss in next couple 5 to 10 minutes. I am Abhishek Kumar Chaudhary, Senior Lecturer, Sri Chaitanya, Gosala campus. See, if I will talk about physics, how to study, what to study, basically one thing every one of us know already, there is no shortcut. There is no shortcut. But yes, if there is no shortcut, then there is one more thing that is called smart learning, smart work, hard work, smart work. This all we keep talking about. Today we are going to talk what is the smart work, how to work more on physics smartly, hard work, less number of hours, more output, how to generate. So you have to actually know this, the nature of physics that is being asked in NEET, and on what basis we will discuss it. See, we all know that NCRT that we all generally take reference for NEET. What is given in NCRT, what NEET might ask, what is in syllabus, what is not in syllabus, everything we decide according to NCRT. So exam pattern will also be decided by NCRT only. How? NCRT, if you will see the board exam, especially CBSE board exam, their second year 12th exam, this is not an hard and fast thing, but I have experienced it and you might also check it. 12th exam has some blueprint like semiconductor. This chapter, if you will see, semiconductor, this is of kind of 7 marks there for 12th exam of CBSE board, where the reference book is NCRT. So you will see that semiconductor is also important for NEET, because obviously now students working for 12th exam, and immediately after a couple of months there is NEET exam. So whatever is the output, whatever is the blueprint weightage of some chapter for their 12th board, kind of same in second year you can see in NEET also. So semiconductor is love of NEET. They will definitely ask you couple of questions are to always there. 2 questions on an average, 3 can also be there, and very simple, very easy kind of questions. You can take this topic for 2 questions in the NEET. That is the weightage you can say. But again one point comes, what to study. What to study? 2 things, bifurcate this chapter into 2 things, energy band diagram and all types of diode. Energy band diagram and all types of diode. So what to study? Theoretical questions might come from energy band diagram, energy band theory you can say, or Second was all the diodes, proper basic knowledge, all the diodes. Don't try to learn this in very complex manner. They are very simple, like what is Zener diode, what is light emitting diode, what is their characteristic curve, what is IV graph, like for every IV graph is very, very important. And what is their biasing, forward biasing, what happens, reverse biasing, what happens, how the circuit works. These kind of thing you have to see in this semiconductor. So make a note, like I will focus more on energy band theory, and the second I will work more on all types of diodes. Transistor is not anymore in the NEET syllabus, so you can work on these concepts, and semiconductor you might take 8 marks in the NEET. After semiconductor, we were talking about second year weightage according to 12th exam of board, CBSE board especially. Then you will see, and more kind of weightage is almost same in all boards also. Some 1 mark more, 1 mark less, but kind of weightage is same in every board. So semiconductor should be your first priority, and very easy kind of questions will come. In NEET also you can look for very semiconductor question and do it first. Second, if you will go with, that is the array optics. Array optics. Array optics also, it is a routine questions in NEET, and more in board also the weightage is also very high. So for board exam also kids do, and for long term students, they are not writing board, they should take this as important topic for NEET. Why I am saying this? See, in class 10th you have done, and same topic you have to do there. So NEET is actually trying to make your work easy. They are not like very difficult questions and all, but we are generally trapped in the wrong kind of preparation, only what to study, how to study, what to leave, what not to study is very important in NEET, especially in the physics subject. So ray optics, if you will see, in ray optics, the most important point, ray optics is formula based topic. You don't have to derive anything in the NEET questions, formula based, and all formula like distance displacement relation, object distance, image distance, focal length, magnification, all of like length relation is there. There is no vector, there is no resolution, there is no vector formula, there is no integration, there is no differentiation. What easier we want? Ray optics is free from all of this. All maths, simple LCM maths is there. Fraction addition, 1 by V, 1 by V, 1 by U, 1 by F. So you see it's a ratio, magnification is the ratio, or all other formula are based on a very simple arithmetic. So you have to make up your mind that mathematically, if you will see the use of maths, the ray optics is one of the easiest of the topic, and that's why NEET is asking it also in a very routine manner. So ray optics you need to do. For this, work firmly on sign convention. You have to work on sign convention. It is confusing, but you have to work on it. Like spend some time, 2-3 hours on it, do all the formula, write formula, match it, but learn it. You cannot intrude into the topic without properly knowing the sign convention. So sign convention, basic formula application, what is magnification, what is lens formula, what is cutting off lens, there are 10 points, and those cutting off lenses, combination of lenses there, mirror, lens, prism. Either of these three will keep coming on rotation. Like this year prism came, maybe next year 24 prism question came. And that question also, see how easy was the question. If you will go through NEET 2024 prism question, they are asking there, NEET 2024, they are asking their refractive index, and that has to be greater than 1. If you will see the 4 options there, only 1 is greater than 1. You can tick that option without actually solving the question. The 3 options are easier than that what NEET can ask, right? So mu was required and 1 answer was greater than 1, you can directly tick that. What I am trying to say, sign convention, prism, lens, mirror. In that rotation you have to do questions. In lens, the optical instrument also come, the combination of lenses, compound microscope and all. So ray optics should be your second in the list. Semiconductor, ray optics, that should be there, and ray optics takes time. It is a demanding topic, time demanding topic. You cannot do in 1 hour. Accuracy will develop with the thorough practice. As early you will start, as more accurate you will be up to your NEET 2025. If I will take the third topic, after this third topic, Topic number 3, and that is also you have done in 10th class. The name is current electricity chapter. Current electricity chapter. Okay. In this chapter, simple either graphs like open NCERT, the various graph, resistivity graph, characteristic graph of Ohm's law, non-ohmic conductor, as many graphs are there, there's all the graphs, that all graphs should be on your tips. So point number 1, all NCERT graphs without any compromise, just memorize it with full accuracy. All the graphs in NCERT. You will surprise to see PYQ, you will see previous year questions. Direct those questions are there. They're not asking to innovate anything. Not usual, just you know or you don't know kind of questions are there. So graph all NCERT graphs of current electricity chapter that you should prepare. 4-5 times you will write notes and revise. It will be there, and that might turn up like in NEET 2021 question came on copper's resistivity graph with temperature and all. They're direct, like you know or you don't know kind of question. There you cannot derive it and you will find it. That will not go. Like second will be simple circuit. Simple circuits. When I say simple circuit, it means EMF knowledge, potential difference, especially of cell, and resistance. That's it. You don't have to work more. Okay. Potential difference of cell, potential difference of resistance. Cell can have two types of like E plus IR or E minus IR, sometimes E only. Resistance potential difference will be IR. Simple one loop, maximum two loop circuit. That circuit, in circuit, what is the potential difference of resistance? What is potential difference of a cell? These kind of questions you should do, you must do. And trust me, they are solved in one line, two line. It's not like an entire page derivation you need to do. Proper formula, proper technique you know, and it can be solved in 2 lines at the max. After that, in current electricity, first is what? First I asked you, go with thorough with the graph. Second, I asked you simple circuit, that is single loop or double loop, like V equal to IR. You're calculating potential of cell or potential of resistance. That you have to know. And the third in current electricity, if you will go, third in current electricity is the energy and power. Energy and power questions. I'm not asking you to only study this. I'm just asking you to focus more on these topics. Focus more, be thorough, because these kind of questions, energy, power, like bulb questions you will take, or heater questions you will take, or kilowatt hour type of questions, what is energy in kilowatt hour. So these kind of questions, they might ask from current electricity chapter. Simple circuit, in simple circuit you can add Kirchhoff's law also. Okay. Kirchhoff's law also. So these are the topics that you should emphasize more. You know, these 3 topics that I have written here, that alone can give you at least 20 to 24 marks. These three, right? Like even 6 questions are coming, 24 marks are there, and these are the questions which are damn easy. Straight 1 line, 2 line, 1 line, 2 line of solving. You put the value, you get the answer. Okay. There are few topics which are complex also, right? But right now, first you guarantee your 120 marks, and then work on, like, preparation should be like this. It should not be like, don't always try to walk against the wind. You know, I will do first SHM or I will do rotational mechanics. You have to do, but first guarantee your 120 marks, and to guarantee there are many easy chapters also. So that way you can emphasize more, and NEET will definitely ask. Reason I have told you, in board exam of almost all the boards, CBSE I take just a reference, but almost all the boards, these chapters have more weightage, and if there are more weightage, there is a logic defined. In 12th in the board exam, kids are focusing more on some chapter. NEET has to ask more questions from those chapters in the second year. That is a very simple logic defined. They cannot go against it. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. You are focusing for board exam, all of a sudden 1 month is left, and then kids are focusing on some other chapters all of a sudden. That is not possible for kids. It is a very hectic task also. Next, after this, go on 2 twins like here, 1 twin and 2 chapter, atoms, nuclei. Atoms, nuclei. twins. Okay, more or less same kind of concepts are there. Atoms you study in chemistry also. Atoms, simple two things in atoms and guaranteed two things. Bohr's model, atomic spectra, nothing else, like hydrogen spectra and Bohr's model. कुछ नहीं करने. Rutherford, you know, I'm saying focus mode. If you know everything, there is nothing better than that. But if you want to be intensive with your studies, focus mode in atoms on what? Bohr's model. Now, if you know Bohr's model, know everything from A to Z, everything. It's a planetary model, it's a single electron model. Why not double electron model? That you should be thorough. Why it doesn't work for double electron model? It should not be what is there. Everything between the lines of NCERT should be, each comma, full stop should be on your tips. So that is the meaning of intensive. It doesn't mean that 2 topics you took, 2-3 formula you did, and you're done with that. That does not work. If you know something, you know with a full precision, right? And second one is the hydrogen spectra. Hydrogen spectra. These 2 topics you have to do from atoms, and NEET will ask you questions guaranteed from these 2. Here and there, sometimes where is the closest distance of approach? Closest distance of approach in Rutherford. You will study that in so many times in nuclei, in Rutherford, in electrostats. That more or less will be in your mind in gravitation. But this atoms, Bohr and hydrogen spectra, that should be very, very thorough in your mind. You will get through with the questions in NEET. Next one, if I will talk about nuclei. What topic in nuclei? What to study in nuclei? What to study with so much accuracy? Anyone is asking anything and I am done. Okay, ask whatever you can ask. So there also you can make 2 topics. One is the binding energy questions. Binding energy on the basis of mass defect of a single nucleus. Binding energy on the basis of nuclear reaction. Binding energy in nuclear fission also. Means wherever binding energy is coming, binding or energy questions of pair annihilation, of pair production. So wherever energy is involved in nucleus, I am thorough with it. Every detail I know. So that energy consideration is very, very, very important for nuclei. So you can make your energy questions in nuclei or binding energy questions in nuclei. And as many varieties are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, every formula should be in your mind, and all thorough practice. In PYQs also, you will see major questions on that. Second, if I will go on nuclei, first I told you binding energy questions. So binding energy does not mean that you will say, okay, delta M into 931.5 or delta M into C square. As I said, binding energy questions come through different model. All the models should be in your mind. Next, if you will go on this, the slight knowledge of nuclear force for theory questions. So nuclear force will hardly go, I think, half an hour. Half an hour, NCERT points to pointer have many important points. To all those points, theoretical question, nuclear force, there is no mathematical expression for nuclear force. So numerical cannot be asked also. But what is the graph, where it becomes repulsive, at what separation it is attractive, what kind, every detail when it is charged independent, but when proton-proton interaction becomes the least, these kind of questions, you should be very thorough in nuclear force. So binding energy, property of nuclear force, and that nuclear force property just for theory question, like it is short range, saturated, tensor force, like spin dependent, these all concepts you have to take. And the last, fission. See, fusion in NEET, if you will see nuclear fusion, this is the least asked topic in NEET. Nuclear fusion I am saying. But fission is again important. Fission is the combination of theory as well as numerical. Numerical will be like power reactor question or energy or number of fission per second questions. So there are 3-4 numericals that you have to take care. But again, theory is also very important. Average number of neutron, product are not always certain. There are many things, right? So fission is important. So you will include 3 topics in nuclei. One is this order wise, if you will include, that is binding energy, nuclear force, fission. You have to emphasize more on these topics. Again, I am saying these are not the only topics that you have to study, but I am just helping you, trying to help you to score at least 120 with the least of effort. So that 45 minutes done, 120 marks you have achieved, or 40 minutes, 120 marks you have achieved in NEET 2025. After that, if more half an hour or 20 minutes I can devote, I can take my marks up to 160 or 155. Getting good marks in NEET is obviously required honest practice, hard work, full dedication, proper revision, like good kind of study should be there. But again, I'm saying I'm just helping you here for the smart work. Hard work is only you have to do. Nobody can replace you in hard work, right? And I hope you're doing also. But if you will take some input, the hard work plus smart work, a good combination will be there. So that is atoms, nuclei. Now these ray optics, atoms, nuclei, current, electricity and semiconductor, these four can give us at least 32 to 40. This much marks. So my 40 marks is done. 32 to 40 marks. And again I am saying these are the chapters where if you will put more of your energy as much you are putting in mechanics, in 70% of that energy you will be more accurate and you will enjoy also. Like I'm getting questions, I'm getting marks. Okay, nuclear reaction, binding energy, I said mass number is conserved and charge number is conserved. These kind of things, like you have to know what product will be there. It's easy questions, just one line questions. Okay, how to know, that's a different thing. Right now today I'm saying what you have to know. Okay, so I hope this much is clear. Going next, after next, in second year first I'm telling you, next weightage is of this chapter, electrostatics or electrostats. Electrostats is considered as the fundamental of the entire second year. Wherever you study electricity, electric field, everything. So electrostats including capacitor. Electrostats including capacitor. This is something which you cannot exclude, whether you love it or you hate it, you cannot exclude it. Karna to hai, you have to do it. But then again, if you have to do it, so do it smartly. So what we have to focus more on in this electrostats, my opinion, go with like application of electric field. Application of electric field. I'm not saying formula of electric field. Application of electric field. If you know electric field, like you know ring electric field, if I'm writing there is a uniform ring and this is the radius r at a distance x, I know it is k q x upon r square plus x square 3 by 2. Okay, this is electric field, axial electric field due to uniformly charged ring. I know this formula. And what is the application? If I know the formula, so what this formula will do, where I can use it. So like one of the common example I might take, electric field is exerting force, and force, entire mechanics is open. Force means motion. Motion means what kind? It can be circular also. It can be projectile also. It can be kind of straight line motion also. So what I want to say is just by knowing electric field, a question setter can ask you entire mechanics. It's a vast application. I'm just throwing a electron in electric field. It can be acting like a projectile, or SHM like simple pendulum. G effective, electric field is up or electric field is down, or electric field is horizontal, these kind of question. So electric field plus mechanics, motion, that is the golden question from electrostats. Very, very golden one. So that you have a little like know the formula and know the application, where to use. One application I told you for force. Second application will be for potential. Third application will be for flux. Flux and Gauss law or Gauss's law. So we will go like this: flux, Gauss law, potential and force. These are the three applications of what? Electric field. Now it will not be done in 1 hour or 2 hours. You have to plan it and you have to do with full accuracy. For force, you have to know little knowledge about mechanics also, but for these two, only this chapter will do the work. Like if E is given, then what is V? Sometimes graph questions, if potential is given, then what is E? These kind, and flux obviously E dot A and all. So when you will write electrostats application, just memorizing electric field formula will not work. Electric field application you have to go for, and it is very, very important. Then these three are done, then go on capacitor. And capacitor, the most important question, I can sometimes say only one question, that in capacitor if someone want to work intensive, like not willing to devote much time to it. So that is the combination question. combination of capacitors. Combination of capacitors, right? Series combination or parallel combination, or you can go with the like a Wheatstone bridge, okay, Wheatstone bridge, these kind of questions. Whatever in NEET level is there, combination is just not only to find equivalent capacitance. Combination questions, I am saying, there one kind of question will be what is the equivalent capacitance. Other type of questions will also come like series combination. Do we know charge is constant? Yes. Charge is same rather, like every capacitor will have the same charge that is flowing through it. But then potential difference is different. And if potential difference is different, then that is a question. How much is the potential difference? Got it? 3 capacitors in series, C1, C2, C3. What is C2 potential difference? That is in grouping. What is same? That is same. What is not same? That is the question. Like in parallel, what is same? In parallel, potential difference is same, right? And what is not same? Charge is not same. Then what is charge through a certain capacitor? That's the question. So grouping and what is changing, finding that. Grouping means what is series formula, it is parallel formula. Series, what is changing? Potential. So how to calculate potential of a certain capacitor. And in grouping, in parallel, potential constant, what is varying? Charge. So how to find charge on a certain capacitor. These kind of questions, there are many variety, like parallel plates are there, IH method we are saying, cross plates, there are many methods. Model right now I am not discussing. Just this heading should be well practiced for your NEET 2025. Okay. So these are the topics, and one more topic I want to add. Next topic, go in Lenz's law separately. I'm not including that in the electromagnetic induction. Just separately take this topic. Okay. That topic needs a very accurate practice and very tricky way to solve it also. Like many discussions are there, and while you're doing 180 questions in NEET, maybe that time that your mind is working that much or not. So for that, the easiest of the way you have to learn to tackle Lenz's law. So Lenz's law, take it a separate topic. If it comes, it will not be easy. I'm not saying the topic is difficult, but while you're doing 180 question at a time and suddenly one thoughtful question is coming there, that requires a lots of input. Got it? So you have to practice well. If you want to win a race in Olympic in 1 minute, you have to practice to win it in half minute, because efficiency there will fall. That's why I'm saying that this topic should be a well practiced, so much practice that even if some critical questions is coming, you are able to tackle it. After doing all this, now these all, I hope you have made a note. If you have made a note and practice this much, then I will go on first year. First year topic, if you will see, how to do smartly. First year majority is mechanics, and mechanics is difficult. Why difficult? Because it is not difficult because you cannot do it kind of thing. It is difficult because it needs some mathematical application. Maths is required, and generally if you are not thorough with the maths or mathematical, like I know how to use maths, but I am not that fast. So NEET that becomes difficult, because NEET is supposing like we are expected to solve a question in 1 minute and bubbling also. So that much fast with maths, if we are not there, then it sounds like difficult. Maybe if we are given 2 hours for physics only, then physics marks will improve for everyone. So it's not like if we are weak in physics, we have to be accurate in a certain time. That's why it becomes difficult. So how to tackle it? So in mechanics, I will personally, in my opinion, I will suggest you have to exclude differentiation and integration first. It's not the foremost and very priority like topic. You have to exclude it first, right? Differentiation and integration. Just take one out of this, differentiation of x raised to power n and integration of x raised to power n. Trust me, if you know this, 80% of the questions of NEET level can be solved in mechanics, kinematics, in work like integration f dot dx. That's. Then you have to be thorough secondly with graph. Graph, especially in kinematics, is one of the most important topics. Graph in kinematics. Then you have to work very hard on motion under gravity. Motion under gravity is again formula based, and there is a sign convention also. Okay, take this topic. So kinematics means work in this 1D I am talking about. Projectile is again, right now I will not discuss because projectile is completely formula based. That too you must know. There is no discussion in that should be memorized time of flight or maximum height, because if NEET will ask, they will simply ask question on a direct formula from projectile. But graph, simple differentiation, integration and motion under gravity, something to be very, very thorough about, like we have to practice more on this. Second chapter that I will tell you to go with work, energy and power. Work, energy and power with collisions. I can say this topic is love of NEET for the first year. Like semiconductor is love of NEET for the second year. That is for first year. Work, energy, power with collisions, but how to proceed? Simple formula and more accurate practice. Sometimes you are calculating your answer in joules and answer is given in electron volt. Answer is given in earth. So more practice, like little details kind of thing. I'm not like I'm solving one question in one page and one and a half. These kind of questions are not coming. If you know it, it's good for you. But if you want to know this chapter from scratch, focus more on formula. Take this chapter as formula based, but including that there are many theory questions also coming from this, like collision. Kinetic energy in elastic collision is constant or conserved, right? Or momentum is conserved for what body? Individual body or for a system. In what direction momentum is conserved? Along a certain direction or overall momentum is conserved. Restitution depends on nature of material, right? Restitution does not depend on velocity or does not depend on any other motion parameter. So these kind of theory questions, and theory questions, the best thing is NCERT. But NCERT again has very mature language. NCERT is written that way, you have to read it again and again. If you are not good at reading, then NCERT might ditch you in there. But ditch means you will take some other meaning, but actual meaning is something else. You need to have a very good mentor for reading NCERT with you. That mentor could be your some good friend, some family member, and there is a mentor in your family or in your friend or somewhere who is helping you to go thorough with NCERT. It's very important that what you understood out of NCERT reading is actually true. Otherwise, sometimes we may consider, this is saying, that is the meaning. And after NEET, we come to know that I got this, but actual meaning is this. That is a very problem in NCERT reading. So don't rely on everything that you understood. Keep it checked, either through test or through some of your mentor. What you got, like if testing is your getting marks, it means you have got the concept. That is my strong suggestion to all of you. In theory questions, keep yourself checked. Otherwise, after NEET, you will come to know, okay, I got that meaning, actual meaning is something else, right? So many theory questions are coming. So formula based numerical you have to do. Formula based numericals. Okay, work energy theorem, power for water flow, power for windmill, power for chain question. There are many models like power and kinematics, like NCERT has a question, constant power kinematics, constant power then velocity variation with time, constant power then displacement variation with time. So these are the things you have to do. And secondly, theoretically be very sound in this chapter. Both can come. Like if I will say momentum is zero, then kinetic energy zero or not zero. This kind of question, that is a theory question, just for a reference. So you can do one mistake in this. What mistake you can do? You can go with the kinetic energy is P square by 2m, momentum is zero, kinetic energy is zero. You might write it zero, but that will be wrong. Why wrong? Because momentum of a body is not zero given. If momentum of a system is zero, m is moving with you, that is also moving with you, so their momentum will be cancelled. Plus mu, minus mu, this is plus momentum, that is minus momentum, so momentum will be cancelled. But kinetic energy being a scalar quantity, kinetic energy has no direction, so that will not be cancelled. So plus and minus, momentum is zero, but kinetic energy is not zero. Just a glimpse I have given. These kind of theory questions will be there. Otherwise, you will always keep in mind, okay, momentum is zero, then kinetic energy. That formula is only for one body. One body momentum is zero, then that body kinetic energy will be zero. But for a system, that is not applicable. Just a glimpse. This kind of mini questions come from this. After that, if you will go next and try to work next on which chapter. See, system of particles is a very lengthy chapter, very difficult also, like not actually difficult, but students find it difficult. But if you will do selective study from this, selective study, like first I will tell you calculation of center of mass. If you see this topic, you have done this topic, you must know it is formula based topic. Like M1, X1, M2, X2, I have to put the values, I will have to get answer. Or what is semi-ring or what is semi-disk center, a formula based topic. Formula so we can memorize, you are good at memorizing things, like you are intelligent bio students. So this is formula based topic and NEET will ask you formula based question on this. There is no surprises, there is no out of box. Surprises in NEET is only in theory questions. Numerical, there is no unexpected thing, right? So you have to be accurate, but you don't have to be very mathematically sound for numericals. So calculation of center of mass, calculation after that you will go with moment of inertia. Moment of inertia. The mini technique in moment of inertia. Do this topic with short tricks, technique. This is very, very important. All long method will not help during NEET. Even if you know, you will not be able to produce at the time of NEET. So a perpendicular axis theorem, parallel axis theorem, and the cavity kind of questions. The many models questions in this, and for every model you should know in such a manner you can solve question in maximum 2 lines. Got it? The mini technique. Otherwise, moment of inertia you are solving in one page, that is as good as not solving it in NEET. 1 minute solving. Always keep in mind. NEET kind of question. Third is conservation of angular momentum. This is again love of NEET. Conservation of angular momentum. So in system of particle, if you go through in all topics, good for you. Otherwise, these 3 topics should be very, very strong. See, these 3, conservation of angular momentum is formula based, and that will help you in learning gravitation also. Got it? Gravitation also, Kepler's law also. So that anyway you have to know. And in Bohr's model also, quantization in nuclear also. So that topic is something that we cannot completely ignore, right? So we have to enter into this topic. Better do it with full accuracy and precision. Moment of inertia and this. Got it? And after this all, I will suggest one at last. Why I am suggesting at last? Because see, for especially long-term student, touch unit and dimension chapter at last. At like doing first, it is the first chapter in NCERT, but always try to do it last. Doing last unit and dimension will give you, it is very relatable. Every quantity you have studied, entire physics you have studied. Now you know what is activity, or you know what is the energy density. So that chapter is more relatable, but do it, don't skip it. Unit and dimension with screw gauge and vernier caliper. If you are not good at these topics, then go with least count at least. What is the least count? But I would suggest spend some time and know how to write the measurement also, right? For screw gauge and this. Unit and dimension, homogeneity questions, screw gauge, and these all vernier caliper questions you have to do, but do it last. So these are the few topics I wanted to discuss with you to get a good marks and with a lesser effort with smart work in NEET. We will discuss it more, right, quite often. I will come again with some new ideas, some new suggestions, some new thing. Till the time, bye-bye, God bless you, take care.